Right, we are now joined via Zoom by the Chief Director for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal, Nonala Ndlovu, to give us an update on the work done in the province following the devastation. Nonala, thank you so much for your time. The national state of disaster was declared on Monday by President Cyril Ramaphosa. What resources have been mobilized to date to support those left destitute in the province?
Thank you, Unati, and good afternoon to the viewers as well. To date, what has been done, the main focus has been on the immediate social relief, but we have seen commitments being made by national government together with provincial government. For instance, we do know that there is 1 billion rand that has immediately been made available to build houses and to provide temporary shelter to the displaced families. So to date, there is that amount of money that's going to be dispersed over a period of time, as much as it is reasonable for the teams to be able to build the temporary housing and also to start building the permanent structures. But we also do know that at the moment, even today, the minister or the National Minister of Public Works, together with the provincial MEC and the Minister for Human Settlements, have met, and they're trying to identify land where suitable land where housing would be built for those that are displaced, because we do know that some of the communities that were affected, they had built in areas that are not necessarily suitable for habitation by people.
Before I move on to my next question, you touch on a very important issue, and that is suitable land. And of course, the question of infrastructure has come in after this disaster. In fact, the president of Traditional Leaders Organization, Kgosi Mokoena, just recently saying that the recent floods in KZN have really exposed government's failure for building proper or providing proper infrastructure for the people of KZN. When you go about your fact-finding mission in terms of finding suitability of land, what are you looking at?
Well, it's mainly, you do know that the bigger devastation is around eThekwini, and there are areas that are quite sandy, and there are areas that are river floodplains, and those areas are not necessarily suitable for human settlement. So at the moment, what we are looking at are areas that we know that even if there is a recurrence of something like this, the families won't be as affected, because we do know that it's rain, it's something that we can't control, but we can be able to limit the devastation to families if we have built correctly. And that's the main preoccupation for the principals at the moment, that we really should avoid settling people in places that are not suitable for human settlement. And that's just one of the things that are being done. But further to that, the principals of the political leadership of the province, meaning the executive as well as the KZN legislature, they are going all out now and visiting the different shelters to just make sure that the people that are housed in the shelters, they are receiving all the support that they can get. And we're also starting to actually deal with the burials, those that need to be buried. We encouraging and we supporting them to get the necessary documents so that the burials can be underway. We know that a few of them have already buried their loved ones, but others have not buried their loved ones because of missing documents in some instances, and others are waiting for the postmortem. Even the postmortem side, the Department of Health is trying as best as they could to actually speed up that process so that people can get to bury their loved ones and start to rebuild their lives.
It's obvious that this is obviously a multi-pronged approach from your end. We do know that 40,000 people were left essentially homeless because thousands of homes were destroyed. You mentioned that temporary shelter has been sought for some. Talk to us about the numbers in terms of people that you've already helped. I mean, our reporters have been on the ground for pretty much over a week now, and some of them, showing us pictures of people still staying in unsuitable structures where half of their homes have essentially been destroyed. How many people have you managed to effectively touched in this situation and give a helping hand?
Well, there's over 30,000 people that are already housed in the temporary shelters. There is those remaining ones. Others do not really want to move from their places, but we are continuously engaging them to move to safer places. But we do know that there is in excess of 4,000 homes that were completely destroyed, and there is about more than 3,000 that were partially destroyed. And there's varying levels of damages to people's houses. Others are still able to live in their homes, even though there is some damage that has occurred in their homes. But those that are completely destroyed, they are being housed in community halls, in churches, and others have preferred to stay with their neighbors. But we do know that in total, we're looking at about 40,000 people that have lost shelter.
We know, of course, that more than 440 people have sadly lost their lives, but we also know that there are a lot others who are still missing. Talk to us about rescue operations, as it were. We know that 10,000 SANDF soldiers are now on the ground also assisting with those operations.
Yes, the SANDF are still being deployed, but to various operations. But besides that, we received a team from the Western Cape of about more than 30 people who are assisting with the search and rescue. We've already also received people from Gauteng and Northwest who are also assisting. I think in total, we're looking at over 100 people that are assisting in the search and rescue operation alone, besides the other type of assistance that is being provided to the people.
Nonala, before we wrap this conversation, very quickly, a lot of donations have been pledged by different businesses and foundations so far. You've also spoken about the 1 billion rands, donation. Talk to us about how you will ensure that all this money is used properly to assist the victims in the floods.
Well, the organs of states that are seized with the responsibility of ensuring that the funds are being used correctly are also on high alert. I'm talking about the Auditor General. I'm talking about the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation. I'm also talking about even the Section 11 institution, the Section 9 institutions, the Human Rights Commission, and all those institutions. They are on high alert, and they are making sure this is over and above the structures that are in place within the departments themselves to make sure that each and every cent that is being used is accounted for. So at the moment, we can say that we have put structures in place to make sure that the monies, they go to where they are intended, and not even a cent goes missing and is used incorrectly.
Nonala Ndlovu, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.